Hey guys, Mamie here. Thanks for joining me today. So I am on the design team for Some Odd Girl that just started in September, and this is going to be one of the cards that I make for my first project. I'm really excited. I've loved Some Odd Girl since I very first started card making, and so I'm really excited to be part of the design team. All the ladies there are super awesome. They're all really sweet and they're very supportive. But anyway, we'll talk more about that as the days and months go on. But let me jump into this video where I have stamped with VersaFine ink this little image of this little boy from the stamp set called Little Love. And I am using the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to color this in. And it is on Strathmore watercolor paper. Sometimes I'll use Bristol Smooth watercolor paper. Just Bristol Smooth paper. But since I'm doing a lot of layers today, I wanted to make sure I had a good sturdy watercolor paper. And so like I said, I'm using the zigs, and I'm going to just kind of show you in this video how I do the layers and the shadows. And it's quite a bit of coloring. So when you're doing layers, you're starting really light and you're really wanting to darken up, just the areas that you want in your shadows and go over them and over them until you have the desired look. And so these are really great and bright markers. They have a lot of color to them. I did notice a little bit of drying too fast here on today, and it's probably because I'm skipping around instead of working in small sections. I have got to get better about working in small sections. I just cannot help it. I just have to be all over the place. I can't just stay in one place and just finish that area and move on to the next. I have no patience. I just can't even explain it. But anyway, so if you notice, like, I have some kind of lines that weren't blending really good, it's probably not the marker's fault. It's probably my fault because, like I said, I let it dry too long before I start the blending. So anyway, I'm going to leave you for a bit with the coloring because it is a little bit long. But I wanted to take note first that whenever you see me using my water brushes that I showed at the beginning of the video, I use those water brushes for blending the colors, and it helps a whole lot. You don't have to use them, but for me, for this project, I decided to use the water brushes. And so it helps you blend, but it also helps you create highlights. And so I want you to take notice whenever you're watching the coloring, there's areas that I will go over with the water brush and it doesn't look like I'm blending. That's because I'm picking up color so that I can create a highlight in certain areas. And that's one of my favorite things about watercoloring is it's so forgiving and you can still get such a great look. So I urge you, if you haven't tried watercoloring, to give it a try, with distress inks or whatever kind of watercolors you have on hand. I have several different types of watercolors because I just like to use a bunch of different mediums. But anyway, also note that you need to dry your image constantly. Like, you don't want for the bleeding to happen. And when you're putting a lot of layers and a lot of water, you're going to have a little bit of bleeding if you're not remembering to dry in between. So you'll notice that I use my heat tool several times, just so I won't have to deal with any of the leaking out into each other and blending into the wrong colors and all that. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, I'm going to leave you for a bit with the coloring, and I will be back whenever we assemble the card. Okay, so I am back now, and I'm just finishing up some of the shading here along the outside of the image on the left side. I usually use the light source coming from like the front right. And anyway, I'm using the Simon Says Stamp rectangle stitch rectangle dies here to cut this little boy out and frame him up. And I just think he's looking so cute. And there's a sentiment that comes in the set called Little Love. And I'm using my VersaFine to stamp that as well. And so I have this Hey Kid paper pack that is just in my stash. It's not anything fancy. It's just one that I picked up at like Tuesday morning or something. I was just looking for a nice pattern. And so this one is called Hey Kid by Pink Paisley. And it has some cute little images on it. And so I'm going to mat this little boy cut out here and put on some red cardstock. And I'm going to put the background on. I'm using my Tombow Mono Multi. It's good for these kind of projects. It lets you move it around a little bit. I usually use my tape adhesive, but I haven't refilled it with the tape yet. I've just been super lazy when it comes to refilling my ATG gun. I don't know. I just can't be bothered with it right now. So I just have too many other adhesive alternatives to choose from, I guess. But I need to fill it up because I would much rather use my ATG tape. So now I'm just going to put some twine along the bottom here, just to give it a little bit more interest. Because it is a boy card, I'm trying to not, you know, fancy it up too much. But still, you know, it can be cute. It doesn't have to be boring. And I have mainly boy cards, mainly boy stuff, because I have a boy. I don't have a little girl. And all of my friends and family, they all have boys. So I'm just waiting for, well, I have some friends that have girls, but not very many at all. So maybe somebody in my family will have a girl soon so that I can start using more of the girly baby cards. So anyway, I do have these wood veneers here, and I'm going to glue those down, just a little airplane and a little arrow. And I think that he came out really cute. Thank you guys for joining me. If you haven't yet, please hit subscribe and jump on over to the Some Odd Girl website and check it out, see what they have to offer. Bye.